Stevie J was the target of a treachery so severe that it might end careers. This is real life, not reality TV, and it just blew up outside the home. Lil Scrappy has lost all self-control. Guess who sparked the match in the courtroom? Today, Bambi was outside the courthouse. Not only was the drama legal, it was lethal. On camera, Lil Scrappy was seen suddenly and without hesitation lunging straight for Stevie J. Here's the real deal. Bambi. What exactly drove Scrappy to the edge? What was said in the courtroom that made him want to throw his hands on the ground? And more importantly, why is everyone suddenly acting so irrationally? A violent and intimate betrayal is said to have caused this explosion, rather than being a random incident. What you are about to hear is beyond dramatic, so let's dissect it and fast watch the video again. It's betrayal, revenge, and the truth. They'd rather you don't know. Keep an eye out. There are security guards everywhere. The pavement is squished up, the county courtroom is sweltering, and the tension is so intense that a butter knife might cut it. Why is the small man pacing with his fists clenched and his jaw clenched? Because a bomb had just gone off inside the courthouse, Bambi's treachery had finally been exposed, and it turned out that Stevie J was the man she allegedly worked with. As you are already aware, Scrappy and Bambi's relationship has always been tumultuous due to accusations, cheating scandals, social media taunting, custody disputes, and more. Let's not act as though everything is brand new. But what recently came to light in court took things to a whole new level. And it was revealed in a custody trial that Bambi had been secretly assisting Stevie J in order to provide him with food. This was intentional sabotage, not merely betrayal. The betrayal didn't stop there, so let it sink in. To bolster her argument and damage Scrappy's character, details on her earnings, parenting style, and even alleged personal problems were exploited. Reveal that everyone in the courtroom was shocked to learn that Bambi and Stevie J allegedly had multiple private sessions for strategy talks rather than business. Reporters were told by an unnamed individual with case knowledge, this Bambi wanted to defeat the opposition, not just win. This was a take-own mission, not just a woman fighting for custody. Now, you may be wondering why Stevie J, of all people, would get involved in this mess. Rumor has it that Stevie J had his own motivations for sabotaging Scrappy. People thought it was all television drama, but apparently there was some resentment. Stevie's shady comments about Bambi looking better off without Scrappy during the historic Love and Hip Hop Atlanta reunion have been simmering between him and Scrappy ever since. Rumor has it that Stevie J viewed Bambi as a potential ally in his secret plan to gain more power in the show's upcoming revival, and sided with her, especially during a camera's footage of Bambi leaving the courthouse with her legal team, pretending she had just won the Super Bowl. After a messy, high-profile court battle gave him the exact kind of controversial clout he's always had. Security guards tried to hold Stevie J, who was a few steps behind him, smiling and pouting as he waited and watched several eyewitnesses recount how Scrappy rushed without warning or commentary as soon as he stepped outside. Back, but before. They were both ripped apart. He was able to get past Stevie enough to punch him, reportedly grazing his jaw. And let's face it, that's when the internet went crazy, and Twitter went viral in a matter of seconds. Chuck Scrappy's exclusive film was released on TMZ before the hour was out, and within minutes, fans, bloggers, and even other reality stars started commenting on his mother and ex-boyfriend. Michelle reposted a video of the fight with the title, "It's always the ones smiling in there," after her daughter removed the tweet, noting, "You folks play dirty till you get Mama D's reaction caught. Real ones don't fold. Your face." However, the real bombshell mama knew that she would ultimately come out swinging vocally. "I've been told y'all Bambi was poison, but now y'all want to listen. My son ain't crazy, he's a man," she said, going too far and displaying screenshots that weren't authenticated. She went live on Instagram immediately after hearing what had happened. There is substantial proof that Bambi and Stevie J exchanged direct messages discussing Scrappy's flaws and how to use them in court. Were they real? Have they gone viral? Indeed. And while everyone was still reeling from the assault, Bambi was heard chuckling softly and saying, "That was easier than I thought," in a recently leaked audio clip that was accidentally captured by a courtroom microphone that had been left on after the session. Courtroom recordings told a more sinister story. The tape instantly cuts off after he fell for the ruse, but those 6 words were enough to completely upend the internet. The bait was the courtroom. Was a confrontation prearranged, or was the legal battle merely a front to publicly and emotionally humiliate Scrappy? People started taking receipts out, and fans discovered old Bambi and Stevie J love videos and hip-hop videos. One fan even created a timeline that linked key moments in Scrappy's deterioration, such as his side eyes and financial troubles, to every instance in which Bambi and Stevie J appeared together on screen. In corners, they conversed and whispered. People were seeking answers after a series of public outbursts turned what had once seemed like a typical chaotic reality TV drama into a drawn-out psychological procedure. Did Bambi assist Stevie J in obtaining Scrappy's personal information? Were there any legal repercussions beyond custody disputes? Meanwhile, Stevie J's camp stayed silent. Was Bambi's treachery only emotional, or was it also financial? Silence in such circumstances says volumes, and that's where things get increasingly difficult because his team denied interviews and his Instagram comments were locked. More rumors surfaced after the attack's video went viral, suggesting that this wasn't the first time Stevie J tried to ruin someone using personal ties, and an unidentified producer from the show's backstage operations. Stevie was known to play a long game in past seasons. Despite his seeming kindness, he is always making calculations and would not hesitate to use Bambi as a pawn to checkmate Scrappy. People were skeptical as a result, not simply angry. Otherwise, we wouldn't know what other backroom deals have been done. Who else might have been involved if Bambi had been working with Stevie J the entire time? And we would pick up just where we left off with the strategic bomb. The file supposedly delivered by Lil Scrappy's legal team was not merely some small court records. Rather, it was a sealed legal document that leaked online and sent shockwaves through Atlanta's entertainment and legal circles. When rumors leaked that a strategic nuke was targeted directly at Bambi and Stevie J, it looked like every blog, podcast, and IG gossip page went DEFCON 1. Let's now discuss the document that was classified as confidential and intended just for use in court. Let's make it clear that this is about criminal intent using private information, not just about cheating or treachery. According to some shocking claims in bold letters, respondent Bambi has been in constant contact with a third party, Stevie J, in order to plan a defamatory media campaign, spread misleading information, and influence potential witnesses with the intention of influencing the trial's verdict, designed to damage someone's character in court. And while these claims aren't verified, the file contained some of the most disturbing pictures of alleged text messages and email correspondence between Bambi and Steve J. Keep poking him, he'll snap eventually. Once he does, we've got him. Wow. One comment alone sent followers into a tailspin, asserting that Bambi and Steve emotionally forced Lil Scrappy to have a public outburst, which led to his now viral attack outside the courthouse. Attorney Odd Lex has not yet formally addressed the leaked document, but legal commentators online were quick to weigh in, posting on X, formerly Twitter, that if these messages are authentic, we're looking at probable charges of collusion, emotional pressure, and even witness tampering. This is illegal and goes beyond family court. This was not just a personal matter, it was also a strategic one. The real kicker, however, is that according to multiple judicial sources, Steve J has secretly enlisted a new legal team. Not just any team, but a highly qualified crisis management firm called The Real Kicker, which is known for managing celebrity and hush money crises. Does this mean that he is preparing for fallout? Though Stevie has always had enough plausible deniability to escape the flames unscathed, this time people are not buying into his dubious dealings behind the scenes in hip-hop and love. After learning about the sealed Mama D doc leak, she returned to Instagram Live with more uncensored commentary, allowing it to enter Mama D once again. After all, this isn't the first time Stevie has dealt with scandal. He has spent years vacillating between it and his notorious conflicts with Jocelyn. I read aloud one of the handwritten letters from Bambi to the tenacious ones, begging for forgiveness, full of emotional manipulation and half apologies, Mom. I know what I did was terrible, but I had to do it. That ain't love, that's war, she said, looking straight into the camera. My son isn't the fan base. What was ideal for me was that you were slipping, and I wanted to win. By this point, the fan community had divided, with some supporting Scrappy and bombarding his page with messages saying, "You deserve more." Others started to defend Bambi, saying that she was just being strategic and not malicious, and that reality TV editing had always portrayed her as the antagonist, and that we, the viewers, had been duped. However, the next bombshell came, and this one was the one that changed everything. She had exploited you for custody and influence, and even if Bambi played chess, you were still the king. Atlanta, the production assistant for Love and Hip. Hop claimed in a long voicemail to a gossip podcast that everything that was going on in court was prearranged months earlier when Stevie J brought the custody idea to producers, and that Bambi agreed to plot control and editing privileges in exchange for a war scandal that would boost the reboot's ratings. The entire situation, the betrayal, the attack, the leaked texts, even the sealed documents, will be a total disaster if that is the case. It might have been orchestrated as part of a larger publicity stunt, but here's the plot. The same source claims that Scrappy was not aware of the custody hearings, were completely sincere, but part 2 of this controversy started when fans discovered that Bambi and Stevie were allegedly cashing secret checks and preparing for a redemption story on reality TV. The betrayal felt even more overwhelming, not just sentimental, not just legal, but financially speaking. Imagine yourself protecting your child and reputation while your ex and her secret co-conspirator use your suffering to make money behind your back. There isn't any loyalty in that crew. Everyone is playing everyone for a storyline Scrappy just because you think Stevie is messy on TV, but he's messy in real life too. Tommy Lee and Carly Red tweeted, among other former cast members who suddenly became quite vocal as reporters began to investigate the production company behind Love and Hip Hop. Ask me how I know. The most recent casualty. Bambi and Stevie were reportedly cashing in Scrappy, but due to the betrayal, media pressure, and ongoing harassment from outside parties associated with the respondent, they allowed the puppet master to marinate. Meanwhile, court insiders revealed that Scrappy had filed an urgent motion seeking a media gag order, claiming that the public display a clinical evaluation revealed that Scrappy had been going through severe emotional turmoil, which put his mental health and his daughter's well-being at risk. Going apart, which leads us to the third and last rung of this problem. The same source that leaked the court docs also said that another name, someone influential with connections to both the clue, was ambiguous. So let's just assume that the puppet master might be a lady who isn't new to reality TV. As this section comes to a close, we're hearing rumors that Scrappy is legal. Fans immediately began blaming her, wondering if it was Mona Scott Young, the producer of the Hip Hop and Love show. Empire might have been the one pressuring Bambi and Stevie J to incite conflict for ratings. If so, this goes beyond a simple personal conflict and is more than just legitimate corporate exploitation. The team is preparing to subpoena production emails, behind-the-scenes video, and payment records to show that what happened was a conspiracy, rather than merely manipulation. This is the worst kind of corporate exploitation, turning a black father's grief into sensationalism, and passing off sabotage as entertainment. Get ready for Chapter 3, which goes deeper into the fallout. By deeper, I mean that the reality TV mogul, you know exactly who we're talking about, may be the secret mastermind behind the mayhem. Part 3. Preview. We resumed with subpoenas being prepared, production receipts being examined, and rumors that a certain person is going to jail and losing everything. On a reunion stage, the account Insider ATL Truth released a zip file that went viral faster than a cheating rumor, allegedly containing unedited production call sheets, film logs, and payment slips for unaired pieces. A few days after Scrappy's legal team filed a motion to demand production materials from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, an anonymous Reddit user, let's talk about jobs collapsing, reputations drowning, and hidden footage coming back to haunt them. You're telling me that a physical altercation between Scrappy and Steve J, which coincidentally happened outside a courtroom, was actually included as a financial bonus in a production schedule? It's orchestration, not reality TV, during a child custody case. Bonus delivers altercation with Scrappy target air date summer production files finale, was written next to Stevie J's name in the document. However, things get messier, because something no one expected was concealed in the same folder. 2 weeks before the attack, Bambi's LLC received a $9,500 wire transfer receipt from a shell company allegedly connected to the Love and Hip Hop brand, which described the transaction as promotional. When this news came, public opinion surged, with YouTubers creating reaction films with titles like Scrappy for a Check and Bambi Sold Out. and bloggers calling for a boycott. The maths is working out for you guys. As for Mama D, she was already back on the air, this time dressed. In full regalia, sipping a glass of wine, and surrounded by screenshots from the leaked folder one. "If this doesn't prove it, then the devil's got y'all fooled. My baby boy got used played," she said, looking straight into the camera after reading them out loud as though she were presenting her own virtual court show. Mama D was right all along. Stevie J had set up a father for reality TV ratings, Betrayed. The world already knows this, but let's talk about what's really happening in the background. Now that he has undeniable receipts, Scrappy is reportedly consulting with his legal counsel. A celebrity legal analyst who helped with the Wendy Williams divorce case may actually have a case against the show's production company, according to Atlanta Daily Buzz. Several insiders claimed for 6 hours straight the night after the Reddit release that they were drafting a civil case for defamation, mental anguish, and fraud, not only against Bambi, but also against Stevie J, and possibly the entire team. Asserted that Scrappy could file a lawsuit for millions of dollars in damages if he could show that his public image and mental health were directly impacted by artificial environments and emotional manipulation. Bambi wasn't going anywhere, but this is a typical case of character assassination carried out under the guise that the messy ones always scatter first when the pressure is on. Stevie J, meanwhile, stopped posting on Instagram and Twitter, just deleted a TikTok and closed the comment box. Bambi's statement without a fight. A few days later, she released a statement via her agent claiming that any funds received were used for Miss Bambi's television promotion. Denies any involvement in Mr. Scrappy's setup or manipulation. She added that all of the material was inspected by network lawyers before to production and was shot in compliance with the terms of the contract. Suggested that I blame the network, but even behind the scenes might not be able to assist her because there were rumors that VH1 management were holding emergency meetings to deal with the rising outrage following the scandal's disclosure. Sponsors were concerned about collaborating with a show that was supposedly exploiting real legal suffering for entertainment, the paper claims. In other words, they were afraid that the money could start to flow, which is when the Ndan XP producer from the Love and Hip Hop franchise came forth with her face hidden and her voice distorted in a startling interview on the YouTube series, TV Untamed, disclosing facts no one had expected. We were given information on the cast members' personal tragedies, such as Scrappy's custody dispute, which was deemed to have a great potential for drama. In essence, we were told to use it, extend it, and turn it into a time of chaos. She said that the audience took sides and that scripts were misrepresented as scene layouts using staged text messages, phony phone calls, emotional ambushes, and the internet. Even Candy Burrus from Genuine Housewives of Atlanta remarked, "Reality TV has gone too far, and real families are suffering, as our hip-hop and cancel love exploded overnight." Free Scrappy began to trend as it snapped higher. He breaks his silence as executives assemble checks in prayer for Scrappy. But when the media environment worsened, Scrappy finally spoke up by releasing uncensored, unpolished video from "I made mistakes and I'm not perfect, but I never thought I'd get stabbed in the back like this. I stood up for you all, for my name, and for my daughter." Without a nice background or music, his speech was being broken by his kitchen sweatshirt. "This is the only person I care about winning. For all the rest of you, you already lost," he said, closing the video with a picture of his child. He turned it into a story. People instantly expressed sympathy, but remember that Scrappy was seen on camera lunging for Stevie J outside the courts, and that security had to restrain and retrieve him. Most folks thought it was merely a heated argument at the moment. However, Scrappy's lawyers have requested access to all unreleased hip-hop and love videos because that film could be used as evidence, claiming that Stevie J intentionally incited the attack to postpone. If they could show that the incident was manufactured, Scrappy's custody claims would be quickly revoked. Instead of being seen as an unpredictable father, he would be seen brought to their knees by a co-parenting arrangement that turned into a toxic production trap. And the consequences might be monumental if this reaches Bambi. Stevie J and perhaps VH1 executives' impact. Depending on the situation, they might face a range of legal and even criminal charges. But more importantly, this might be the end of hip-hop and love as we know it, since the cast becomes collateral damage when fatherhood is sacrificed for viewers, and when betrayal becomes a storyline, it becomes something far more dangerous than television. Since fans are just now becoming aware of the death of love hip-hop, this is the real scandal. As people begin to analyze every narrative, those who built their empires on lies may now witness the public collapse of their castles. This is about every famous person who has ever been spit out, not just those who are scrappy, out by a system that thrives on chaos. And if this lawsuit moves forward, it might be the first of many that uncover decades of hidden abuse. So stay. The battle is not over. If what we just learned is even partially true, then what we are witnessing is more than just a haphazard TV program. I ask that you all pause to think about this. Let that sink in. Lil Scrappy was more than just a character on the show. He was a parent, a man involved in a custody battle, and a real person. This is a complete collapse of a system built on traumatization and betrayal manipulation for ratings, was fighting to keep his family together while the cameras were rolling. His wealth was growing behind the scenes, and the season finale ended on a cliffhanger. So may I ask if you were tenacious? Was Bambi just a pawn, or was she playing chess the whole time? Was Scrappy set up, and did Stevie J really plan the meltdown? Tell me in the space provided below. I want to know what you think. Do you think there is more to this story that hasn't been told yet, or do you back Team Scrappy? Don't just click through. This isn't just a reality show. It's about protecting. In order to prevent real lives from being ruined for phony plots, make some noise and smash that outro. Please click like if you think Scrappy deserves justice. So if you're interested, please subscribe. If you're tired of the lies, turn on notifications, because trust me, this narrative, there are still more receipts for us to sort through. Divulge additional details in order to information to show that the industry would like you to pay attention, since we don't do the gibberish. We do the facts, even the phony ones that appear more sincere than they are. Until the next, it's time to stay vigilant, vocal, and ready. The revolution is shown on television.